Hello, all you wankers.
What's up, Vankahs?
Cheerio, Vankahs. The British Grand Prix, Guenther. The crown jewel of Formula One.
Is this your best English accent?
Listen up, mate. That race was a shit show, wasn't it? I mean, what the fuck happened? Take the bloody piss. Guenther, what the hell? What the hell just happened?
I guess we are going back. I'm pretty sure we will discuss this a little, or should we discuss it now? What happened at the end, obviously, you go to, or what happened at the end, or the whole thing. I mean, the strange thing, a lot of things happen, but they are part of a Grand Prix. But at the end, it was a déjà vu, almost, huh? It was a
Yes.
déjà vu. We don't know what the fuck we are doing, huh? So we do something, yeah, exactly.
Yes. Well, it's a deja vu of every week. Every week they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah, it's deja vu all over again, as they say. It's an endless nightmare.
Yeah, so we need to start a campaign soon. You know what I always say? Full-time stewards that work on a plan. I think sometimes, and this is not to blame the stewards, because the stewards has nothing to do with this. It's a race
Right,
director.
race
director, yeah.
Right.
But if the race director would have permanent stewards, the permanent stewards would help him to find ways around not to look like we did again in Silverstone. That you say, okay, because I would agree if the lap cars have unlapped them at least half a lap and there's only one lap to go, they will not catch them, so they will not be in the way, so we can start the race. But obviously, the race director did what is written in the rule book. But I don't know this software problem, if that is real or if that was a software problem.
Okay. You think that's bullshit? You think they're lying?
I think they said, oh, let's restart the race. And someone said, you cannot do this because the rules say you cannot do this. And then he said, oh, I'm out of here now. Just stop everything, I don't want to embarrass myself. But if there would be a group of people, and I thought a lot about this, technical side of FIA, I think they're pretty good, organized. The guy there, Nicolas Tombasis, in my opinion, for what he has available, he's doing a good job, And obviously there is always something but he's on it, If there is something to be changed, he's on it, He works on it, gets solutions. But this end of race, we had the biggest debacle in Formula One in the last 50 years, 5 years ago. And have we found a proper solution? No. Because now, obviously, if you would have people there full-time which work on this solution, make a software program, or with AI can help you a lot to have a quick solution for this. You don't need to think yourself, It's like, these cars are away half a lap, make the regulations, beforehand, not at the race, because you cannot change it there, that if this scenario happens, that you have got a solution, but you need to present it before what you're doing in such scenarios. And you need to play millions of cases of scenarios, A human being cannot do it, especially not if it's the poor guy, the race director is there, him and a few other people, I would say. But the stewards, if they would be involved, because they then are in the difficult position, like with Sainz, to make the decision. Do we need to penalize him a lap because he was in the pits at the time? I mean, nobody has ever thought about this scenario before. Not even the race teams. But if people put work behind it, you can predict. You can never predict 100%, but I think we are very far off 100% in the moment of prediction.
I mean, it doesn't seem like it's that crazy of a thing to try to predict. There's a car, there's a safety car, and there's only a X amount of laps left, and we want to end this thing on a green flag. You would think that there would be contingency plans in place, that if X, Y, or Z has been accomplished, we can go racing under green flags. They say that's going to happen, then they say it's a software error. The whole thing's a mess, but gentlemen, we're starting off too hot. We have so much to discuss.
Okay. Cool down.
Incompetence.
Cool down.
There's FIA incompetence. There's Charles Leclerc winning a race. There's George Russell getting lucky again after looking like he was going to be unlucky. Lewis Hamilton faltering after a near perfect season so far. And what does this mean for Kimi Antonelli's championship, on top of the fact that Max Verstappen is looking
what are we doing with him?
Well, we're going to get to all of it on this episode of Vankah Hours, part of the Vox Media Network. Before we get to that, Cue that music.
Oh, fuck smash, my dog. I'm got the fucking Steiner and I'm back for more. No, fuck smash, my dog. I've got the fucking Steiner and it's time for Vankah Hours, baby. Vankah Hours, baby. Vankah Hours, baby. Vankah Hours, baby.
And we're back. Before we get into all the stuff, Guenther, you were at Silverstone. How was it? What was the vibe? What was the energy like?
Very good. I mean, Silverstone is always very good, the vibe, you know. So many people there, they know what they are watching. It's always good, Silverstone.
How does it rank, though, if you had to rank it?
I would say it ranks in the top 5. The only thing I hate there is the traffic. So, yeah, I was in the paddock at 7:30 in the morning every day. I had the key to the paddock. I opened.
Mm-hmm. You were the first one there.
Yeah,
maybe not the first. I guess exaggerated.
Because you didn't want to deal. You didn't want to.
I don't want to take me 2 hours to drive into Silverstone. No.
And what about leaving? Do you leave 2 hours later? Do you hang around, or do you try to get out?
I ran away. On Friday, I basically got screwed because I hung around. And it took me more than 1 hour just to get out of the circuit. I left at 7:30. Everybody was leaving. And so I said, on Saturday, after qualifying, boom, Guenther was gone. On Sunday, 4 laps before the race end, I was gone. You know, and was watching it on my telephone. So,
speaking of ending things prematurely, I want to get back to this race finale. You know, it's interesting. Martin Brundle was saying, what is it with these lapped cars and getting these lapped cars to unlap themselves? Who cares if they're on the right lap or not? They're not, when you're lapped, like you don't.
No.
Instead of lapping a full thing, just slow down.
Yes.
And find your way in the grid going backwards as opposed to zooming ahead. Slot yourself in.
Wait, what are they saying here? So, but it's
instead of waiting for the slow cars to go all the way around, just let the pack catch them.
But then they get disturbed if the pack fights for something, and you get you know how difficult it is always with the blue flag. If the lap cars have to let somebody by, they then get involved in the battle for the win. You know, and have nothing to do with it because they are lapped down. So that is the danger there. But I think it can be done quicker, the unlapping. That's my opinion about it. And it doesn't need that they need to catch up. As long as you've got, if there is 1 lap to go, if they are 20 seconds ahead of them, off you go. I mean, it's good. I mean, they will not be 20 seconds faster, the other cars. Or in 1 lap. They will be 20 seconds faster, but not in 1 lap. And if you have got 5 laps, you have anyway the time that they can unlap themselves and gone. You make a special rule for the last. If there are 2 laps left, they just have to get by and have an advantage of 30 seconds.
Or how about this? Just, you're done. Goodbye. Your race is over. You're not in the points anyway.
I mean, how you know that? This year, there was some people were in P5.
Sometimes they are in the points, but
Matt, you know, I know that you just watch the people in front, you know, because you don't have attention, you know, to watch also who arrives 5th and 6th, you know.
I didn't know other people were watching Nico Hülkenberg in 15th place or whatever. I thought, I guess
6th or 7th, I'm saying, I mean, you know, 6th or 7th. If they're out of the points, I agree. Don't fight this fight. You lost this one.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Out
of
lost
the points.
This one. Well, I guess the question is, who's to blame here, Guenther?
FIA. Who else?
So the FIA, like
the whole organization.
If someone was going to get the whole thing,
because they need to find a solution.
It looked like they were having a good time.
Oh, the president was having a good time in the go-kart, you mean?
Seemed like he was having a great time.
He was having a great time. Did he get lapped or not?
Well, he beached himself, actually.
He beached himself, I know that much.
He beached himself, yeah.
He beats himself much like he was actually prepping everybody so this is what happens. Max Verstappen gets beached. We need to be prepared.
United. We need to be united.
But if you look at him, it seems like everything's going fine. He seems to be thinking he's having fun.
But there's nothing wrong with him having fun. But somebody needs to sort these things out. And how long are we preaching? We want permanent stewards. We need to start a petition.
Very long time.
Very long time.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with having fun, but playing jump rope outside of your house that's burning because you left the stove on, maybe not the best look.
Maybe not the best look.
There's a time. Time.
There's a time and a place.
Okay.
Yeah.
Guenther, is it safe to say that the FIA are your wanker for Silverstone?
I need to think because it's we said a while ago. I think they carry that trophy permanently anyway, so we don't need to reissue it every weekend.
Right.
So in the moment. So, but
they're your honorary wanker. They're every week's wanker of the
they're
year.
in the Hall of Fame.
If it wasn't going to be okay, so then the question is, if it wasn't going to be the FIA, who would be your wanker for Silverstone?
Give me some ideas. Who would it be?
Mercedes.
Losing bits and pieces,
department.
Yeah. Losing bits and pieces.
Mercedes reliability. You could say the Red Bull team with Max as rear wing.
Yeah, we have to give it to Red Bull because it's now happened the second time. There's a lot of good people there, and they need to find a solution to a wing which doesn't close. Because, as Max said, it is dangerous. It can be very dangerous. So
I have a question for you, Guenther. So they have the Macarena wing.
Yeah, dance a little bit.
Ferrari also has the rotisserie chicken wing. They're the only two people with the wing. Mercedes doesn't have the wing. McLaren doesn't have the wing.
McLaren had it and they didn't put it on anymore. Yeah. Because maybe they had problems.
It just seems like they're the only right. So it's like, is this wing maybe more trouble than it's worth? Maybe they should just...
If you ask Max, for sure. be assured you get a straight answer from Max. Yes.
Okay. That's what I'm thinking. At what point do you just cut bait on a wing you ever have a discussion like this where there's a part
you have discussions
has
like
a marginal gain, but it's not fuck your whole race?
Exactly. Yeah. I'm pretty sure we will not see that wing in Spa. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that will be gone. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for these two times, you go, how the hell is Max Verstappen in the gravel? How the hell has he thrown himself off track? And for it to be the exact same thing that happened in Austria, that caused a pretty serious little crash there. And he's lucky that this has happened in two tracks with serious runoffs. But if this is going to happen in Baku, if this is going to happen in one of these street courses, and even Spa, that there's not as much room at Spa as there is in Silverstone or in Austria, then that could be pretty bad.
Right.
You don't want to happen that anywhere. I mean, point.
Right.
Yeah.
There is no good place for this to happen.
Red Bull gets your wanker of the week. Guenther, who is your rock star for Silverstone?
Ferrari. Barcelona, they win. Austria, they're on the other side. Get critiqued again, they cannot do it. Came back and did a good job over the weekend again, Obviously, they got a little bit lucky with Kimi having the issue with the bits and pieces falling off, But they had a good performance. They were back, So
and they in theory would have been 1-2 had that race gotten one more lap because they threw Lewis on the softs at the end of the race and kind of you would thought. What's your thought there? Would you? To me that's the right move that they put him on the softs. What did you think? You think so?
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think I think something happened in the pits because he should have gotten out ahead of him anyway. I think there was a problem or something. Like there was enough time for him to pit under the safety car and come out at a George. It was very
close.
It was very close. So it's interesting that you say Ferrari. Why not one Charles Leclerc?
because I think the whole team did a good job the whole weekend, you know. And I put it more down to what I said before. They won in Barcelona, and then in Austria they came back and they were not where they should be, you know. But they regrouped and came back strong, you know. That's what I say. And Charles is back there, you know, gave him the confidence. Because as a team, I think they did a good job. That's for it's the whole team. And the team includes Charles and Lewis, you know. So I wouldn't give it just to Charles, because the combination of everyone there, in my opinion, and they came back. For me, the biggest thing is the comeback after a pretty, I wouldn't say bad Austria, but not a good Austria for them. You know, where everybody's like, Ferrari's back. Boom, Ferrari goes down again, you know. So, and now they're back up again. So that's for Ferrari.
Also, it feels like a Ferrari win, considering the fact that he is now using Lewis's setup, that he has gone away from the setup that was, you know, developed in the sim, and he is now using Lewis's setup and has figured it out as well. So there was Lewis made sure to make sure that was clear after the race, because Charles said, I went in a new direction. Now I've kind of figured that out, and it seems like that direction was, give me the Lewis Hamilton special, and now he's figured out how to use it. So that's a little team win there.
Absolutely. But now Spa is coming, so don't get overexcited.
What do you think's happening between that little battle there? Because obviously Lewis has come online. He wasn't looking terrible in Silverstone, but we all expected him to be better, considering that that's his favorite track on the grid. What do you think? Do you think Charles is back fully? Do you think that Lewis still has the dominance there, or where do you think things are lying in Ferrari?
It can switch every race weekend here between the two of them. There is, some places they are matching each other pretty well in the moment, and we all know that Charles is very good, but Charles needs to get everything together, so. Everything needs to be perfect, and then he's fast. And Lewis maybe can deal with a little bit more problems, and because he's there longer, it's calmer. But it could go any weekend. If the car is there, can outperform the other one and win races.
Right.
I know, but in terms of the WDC, when does your friend Fred Vasseur, when does Fred Vasseur have to make a call and tell one of these guys, you're number two? Do it.
I think that's a little bit away still, because in the moment, I think he lets them race a little bit longer, because neither of them is dominating, to be honest, and I don't know on top of my head now how close they are in points. Brian, you got always the information ready?
Yeah, Charles Leclerc has 108. Lewis has 147.
Whoa, I thought it was less than that.
That's a 39. 39 point difference. And in the entire championship, Kimi's got 179. George has 154. Lewis has 147, and then Charles with 108. So
he's not that far off George right now.
Yeah, but
Lewis.
Yeah, Lewis is, but what counts is how far off they are off the leader. You well know there's only one world champion, and the second one is the first loser. So nobody looks to game of second.
Well, let's talk about this. You've been a student of this for longer than we have. Obviously, you've been in the sport forever.
I'm old, yeah.
How serious is this reliability issue for Mercedes? I mean, we've seen championship cars on pace lose because of reliability. I think the Red Bulls in the early years had pacey cars that couldn't finish. Newey used to build cars that were fast that couldn't finish. Now he just builds cars that are slow and can't finish. But I mean, is it possible that this Mercedes could actually be the fastest car, but not a championship, but lose a championship? Is that possible?
Everything is possible, but if they do that one, wow, there will be some problems in that company. I mean, but you're right. How many points did Kimi lose? He had 2 DNFs, so one in Silverstone where he was winning. I think he would have won 25 points.
He would have won.
And the other one, he was second when he was leading as well when he Was he leading?
I
don't remember
in
where
Barcelona, he was going for second with George.
So it's 45 points.
Like he and George. Yeah.
And also you have to take the points away which the other ones would not have made, because they would have so it's more than 50 points. And if he would have 50 points, if and would, obviously I know that, would have 50 points more, I think he could have a match.
And this is only in the first third of the season. He could lose if we keep this up, he's losing 150 points. Like this.
Not good, though.
Well, this was just a freak accident like this, you've got to be somewhat prepared for curbs, right? It just seems like he ran over the curb and this thing broke.
Yeah. It looked like it just broke off, yeah.
Do you put this on you put this on Mercedes? Because it's sometimes you go to sometimes you can't help but victim blame. You're like, because all we see every week is this guy going over track limits, hitting these curbs really hard.
No.
Because for the audience that's never been to a track, Guenther, tell them what these curbs are like.
They
you
are
see
rough.
the curbs on TV.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
I mean, they are rough, but you know that they are rough, so you need to design the car that that it withstands that. The suspension can do it, I mean, you know what you have got there, and you know that you go over there. I mean, this is clearly. I don't know if it was manufacturing problem, if it is a design problem. I don't know, and we will never know. They will never tell us, But
okay, that's my question. So let's say, have you ever broke this part on Haas? Seems like you broke every part that there was to break. Have you ever broken that specific part?
No, not
the wheel shield.
No.
Wheel shield. That's never failed.
No.
Okay. Let's say you did. What happens next? Tell me about that process.
They will look why it broke. Obviously analyze. First of all, is it manufacturing or is it to save weight? You make it as thin as possible, and then it breaks. I'm pretty sure the next one in Spa will be a little bit heavier and stronger. Because that's what it is. You make it as light as possible, which then makes it fragile. But it could also be that it was a manufacturing problem, that the part, if it would be produced perfectly correct, it wouldn't break. So that is what they are going to find out now. Is it manufacturing or is it design problem? If it is design problem, they will design a new one for Spa. And they've got plenty of time to make them. They are not this difficult to make, So it's not. Everything is complex on an F1 car, but this, in the scheme of things, to make one of them, you can make this thing in 4 days, no problem, even less, if they work overnight. So that is not a problem to replace it. I'm pretty sure Mercedes will never break one of these parts again, because otherwise Toto rips somebody's head off. Bites
Do you think
it off.
this starts to get into the psyche though of the drivers a little bit? I guess if you get into a car and you think to yourself, I don't know what's going to happen with this thing. Something might break off. This engine might, disintegrate beneath me.
I do not think so.
Is there a lack of confidence?
No, but because they cannot do anything about it anyway. It's like they are not in control of that. And if you're not in control of something, you should not worry. Obviously, at the debriefs and stuff like this, you tell people that you're not happy, but you cannot go and check the battery, see if she will last the whole race or not, because you have no idea. I think it's different with Max, where this rear wing is doing something you don't want it to do. You will make sure, guys, you need to show me that this wing works. Otherwise, I do not want it. But on the other stuff, the other stuff is a lot simpler. It's like, okay, the problem on the Mercedes, the wheel shield, they call
the wheel shield, yeah.
Kimi knows that will not break again. With the battery, I don't know what really happened there. Obviously, 2 times is one too many. But
Vankah's support for this show comes from Factor. Changing your eating habits takes time, and we're not just talking about the time in terms of weeks and months it takes to break out of bad eating habits. We're also talking about time in the kitchen, people. That is the unexpected time that it takes sometimes to eat healthy, but that's where Factor changes the game. They provide fully prepared meals designed by dietitians and crafted by chefs, ready to eat in 2 minutes, no planning, no cooking. With Factor, every meal is crafted with functional ingredients, lean proteins, colorful veggies, whole foods, and healthy fats. Come on, people! You can get fresh, never frozen meals with 100 rotating weekly options, including globally inspired flavors. So there's something new to look forward to every single week. Plus, Factor meals have no refined sugars, no artificial sweeteners, no refined seed oils. None of that stuff. Meals that fit your goals and schedule that can help you eat healthier and help you with calorie management. So if this sounds appealing to you, which it should, head to factormeals.com/Vankah50off and use code Vankah50off to get 50% off and free daily greens per box with new subscriptions only while supplies last until September 27th, 2026. See website for more details.
Well, we'll get to. I want to get to back to Red Bull in a second, but what do you think this does for the championship? Obviously, George Russell afterwards says, I was lucky to get this podium. If I keep driving like this, then I'm not going to be competing for a world championship. But do you think these little bits of luck just kind of keeps George alive a little bit longer, gives him a little bit more time to figure out the car? We've seen now that Charles Leclerc, who didn't seem to vibe with this new generation of cars, can start to figure it out, can maybe, get back online. Do you think that this bodes well for the George Russell championship, or was his race pace on the day still more of a concern?
I would go back there to last year, with Lando. Lando was struggling first half of the season, and then he came back stronger. So you cannot write anybody off with it, And obviously George admitted himself he needs to be better than this, So the only one who can do that is himself. So, but he knows about it, and if he can do it, and then can Kimi keep this form? Kimi, the moment the guy is, for me, is something unbelievable what he does, It is wow. The sprint race, the amazing thing was he was not on pole, but he waited. He knew that he will get Lewis. He knew exactly what he was doing. He was just he was not aggressive. He was just staying just behind. And then as soon as the opportunity came with I think he had just the better tires at the time, he took him and off he went. And then comes back in the afternoon on Saturday and put the car on pole. So the guy
and
is
when
so
he came
cool,
in for that second stint on the hards, he was gaining. It was like a second and a half on Leclerc a lap. He was really. It seemed like it was a foregone conclusion that he was going to walk away with that race, and then this thing happens.
Exactly, but also when you saw Charles came in and put new tires on, and he stayed out on the used ones and did the same lap time. On 30 laps old tires, at the same lap time as the other guy on new ones. Then there, if he gets new tires, he's going to blitz him,
Obviously, you say it's possible, but do you think it's going to happen?
I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think George comes into contention now for me. I'm pretty sure. Last week I was 60-40 for Kimi. Now I'm 75-25 for Kimi.
Even with this DNF, because he just looks.
He just looks so strong.
But it is deja vu, right? Oscar looked like he was in such command, and Lando looked so lost. But I can't help but think that it's different. That it's going to be different this time. that Kimi really is something special.
Yeah.
Also,
he's not fighting the team. He's not fighting the team like Oscar was last year. Oscar was fighting a bit of an uphill battle with McLaren. Like Lando is the chosen boy there.
Lando is the golden boy, you think?
Kimi, and
Kimi's the golden boy.
Kimi's, so it's like if anything, George, who's in the hole, is kind of having to fight off the weight of the garage.
So you're saying,
whereas last year it was
George wants to come out of the hole. And while he's trying, they just keep on pushing him down. So
that's right.
After
not exactly going to help him up. I don't think Toto is like, please overtake the kid who I staked my career on. My entire reputation I staked on Kimi.
I think Toto treats them equally. Obviously, his heart is with Kimi. If you put,
right,
but still,
which you can feel.
Yeah.
No, he does. I think he does everything as like contractually for sure. What is
But you're saying he loves them contractually both the same, but really out of the contract he loves the other one more.
But Guenther, are you ever in a position? This is something that comes up a lot with sort of Max, right? Oh, they developed the car towards Max, or they do this for Max, or they're developing the car towards Lando. Do you ever find yourself in you probably didn't. You were probably like, just whatever you think is faster. I don't give a shit if it makes Hülkenberg faster or or Grosjean faster or Magnussen faster. You don't care. But do you ever feel like you're kind of given a fork in a road, and you're like, one decision will probably help one driver and one decision will probably help the other driver, like based on sort of a upgrade or a development path that you could take? Or do you ever find yourself in that sort of fork in the road position, or no?
I think if you find, there is always a way to make it faster, and whoever likes it better or less, you don't care, as long as the machine is faster, because the machine is defined by simulator and simulations, how fast it is. And you take the fastest, and you don't look who is going to drive it faster, because you would not compromise. Okay, we take this way, but it's invent times, a tenth slower, but it suits. In the moment you are 3/10 slower than your target, basically. You find a way to be 2/10 faster or 3/10 faster. You go always for the 3/10. You don't care who likes it and who not. Because in the end, who doesn't like it has to live with it and get the best out of it.
And when you say this is going to make us 3/10 faster, that's because they've run it in a simulation? That's because they've it's X amount of points of downforce?
Exactly, yeah. X amount of balance, downforce, all that good stuff, yeah. Traction, everything goes in the simulations. That is what comes out of.
Right.
It's mainly a balance thing, yeah.
Well, then I get, what's my question, and then this is harkening back a little bit, but like with what Lewis is doing now, right? There's now the car is being developed in Lewis's direction. He's not using the simulator, and now Charles is using Lewis's setup.
I'm not saying the simulator. The simulator is the second step. You simulate, you make a prediction, what you need to do on the car to make it faster. That's a simulation without using the simulator. It's a simulation of software, That is what makes the car faster. And then you go and test it in the simulator if it works. But the simulator is just a step before you put it on the car, because you cannot go and test the car and you save money because you don't make the parts. But it's a theoretically, how can we go faster? Obviously, if you've got a model there, a virtual model, and you put, 50 points of downforce on, for sure you go faster. But and that is what you do to start off with. You make that one, and then you go in the simulator and test it. And Lewis apparently didn't do that. He went straight to the racetrack with it. And obviously Ferrari has got their test drivers, which do all the simulator work, which sit day and night in there, trying to find out if whatever they simulated on the model is faster.
Well, let's go back to the Max Verstappen of it all. Obviously, he had some harsh words in the cockpit when it happened. He said, "Fuck this car," and "Fuck this."
Did he get a penalty or not from the federation for saying that or not?
I don't know. I mean, it seems like they've kind of they're too busy go-karting with the boys to be giving out cursing penalties. There's been a whole narrative this year about Max hating these regs, not wanting to be here. If Formula One continues on like this, I don't know if this is what I want to do. Now it seems like some of his ire is turned towards the team. He's now mad at Red Bull. Maybe he's also mad at the regs, but now Red Bull is getting the ire. Guenther, what does this say to you about Max Verstappen's future, both in Formula One and at Red Bull?
I think in the moment his bigger problem is with Red Bull, what happened in the last two races. I mean, obviously he doesn't like the regs. We don't have to repeat that one. He's not happy with the engine rules, and all that good stuff. But
right.
And on that one, I think they could have been a little bit more drastic in Silverstone to reduce the power a little bit more. So we wouldn't have the yo-yo effect. But it was visible, but not badly. Was it nice? Not really, but was it bad? Not really. So anyway, back to Max. But I mean, where is he going? I mean, if he doesn't like Red Bull, I don't think there is... but yeah, there is places where he can go, but there's places they don't have the money to pay him, and they don't have a car he wants. I think Mercedes... Why would Mercedes take him? Mercedes has got the next superstar and a very good driver in George. So why would you spend more money to get Max in and to? I mean, the only way Max would come in if George leaves costs a lot more than George, and would maybe unsettle Kimi. Why would you do that? And Toto is too smart to do that, in my opinion. And it costs a lot more. You know, as much as they have got lots of money, they like to keep that for them. You know, and I think McLaren is pretty set with Lando and Oscar. And we all know what Ferrari is like, at least for next year.
Can I ask a dumb question?
Wouldn't be the first time.
If you're Max and all you care about is winning, supposedly, why wouldn't you just take a pay cut?
Yeah, but I don't.
He's already got all the money in the world. Why don't any of these guys? Jalen Brunson of the Knicks took a pay cut because he wanted to win. I don't get why he doesn't just do that. I mean, I know it's easy for me to say, but if he's already got a couple $100 million in the bank and all he wants to do is win, wouldn't he say, okay, what can you pay me? Work something out.
But even then, you don't think there's somebody there which takes him? Because they all have got contracts in place. They all need to get rid of one of the guys they have got. So
you're telling me the McLaren wouldn't or Toto wouldn't throw George, or in this case probably Oscar, overboard for Max at a bargain if he took a pay cut?
I mean, as you say, I think Max, if he really wants to do that, it's worth a try, and he's got a chance. I wouldn't say he wouldn't have a chance, but otherwise, I think it's difficult.
Does this maybe speak to, you know, there were these rumors around Max and Mercedes from a couple of years ago, and he stuck around and didn't go there. Is he maybe living to regret? I don't know exactly what went down. Do you have a sense of what, you know, there have been rumors around Max and Mercedes for years. Do you think maybe he regrets not taking up Toto on that offer if that offer was real?
Absolutely. I'm sure he regrets it. Absolutely. I mean, you know, but at the time, you know, because it was when all this negotiation Mercedes was doing with George. You remember, it was not long.
Right.
You know, I think the alternative would have been Max there, and I think Max just wasn't sure what is happening in the future, and then it got away from him. I think the chance would have been then and there. And I don't know if he could. I think he could have gone out of the contract that year. But he was convinced to stay where he is, you know. And he waited until the new regulation came. And now, obviously, it looks like it's too late a little bit. Without a little bit, it's too late.
Right. So is it? So now it sort of seems like he's either got to stay at Red Bull or retire, or take a year, or take a few years off.
Yeah. It looks to me like.
Which do you think he's doing?
He's staying.
Which do you think?
He's staying. That's my opinion. He's staying. He's a racer. He's staying. Obviously, I think what he needs to do, trying to motivate his people, that they give him the car, because the car wasn't bad the car wasn't bad if it wouldn't be for the rear wing, you know, performance-wise. They need to fix
he wanted a new engine. He wanted to start from the pit lane, and then this car looked like he was going to get a podium, and then the rear wing thing happens. I wonder, do you think an aspect? Obviously, we were talking about this on our other pod, like what it takes to motivate a team, what it takes to motivate a factory, what it takes to motivate your mechanics. And it seems like there's different paths to that. Lewis has the kind of like, let's all band together, we can do anything kind of, let's believe kind of angle. Kimi's got he's the young phenom, let's help him, you know, get to the top of the mountain. Isn't his story perfect? Max seems to have the like, I'll do anything, you know, I'll try my hardest, and you know that I'll try my hardest to get to the top of the mountain. But I do wonder when he's in the car saying, I hate this car, you know, by the way, guys, the gearbox still sucks. Fuck this car. Fuck this. You know, does that start to have some negative effects on the team's motivation to get there?
I think it could have, but I think at Red Bull, everybody knows Max. They know that he has got these tantrums, and then he comes back and wants to win races. He won a lot for them. So I think by knowing, if he would go into a new team and behave like this, that would maybe have some negative effects. But he's there since ever. The people close to him know him why he's like this, because he's so disappointed that he doesn't win, But in the end, he's very critical about everything. But the only reason is because he wants to win. And as I said, if he goes into Mercedes and does like this, they will be, buddy, that doesn't fly,
Do you think that's maybe part of why he stayed, is that he knows that Red Bull has kind of built a home with the soft edges for him?
Absolutely. It's his team. I mean, they know exactly the character. They know him. And obviously now there's a lot of new people there, or a lot of the old gang is gone, so.
Right.
But there are still enough people there which know him very well, so they can manage it. Obviously, is it nice for a team that he's doing this publicly? But we all know why he's doing it. So nobody's like upset or saying, "Oh, Max." No, this is Max. He's doing this. That's his character. That's it.
Let's go to our favorite segment: gas or brake.
McLaren won't win a race this year.
Gas. They will not win a race this year. They are a little bit too far behind, it seems like, and they're not getting better. Gas. I mean, if they win one, the other ones need to mess up properly, fuck up properly, Otherwise, they will not win a race. Having now Ferrari as well so strong, Red Bull strong if they don't break the rear wing, and obviously Mercedes being Mercedes. No, they are now clearly the fourth fastest team.
I'm going gas. I'm surprised that I wonder if those Lando stands should be marked down, 50% off, 60% off. I wonder if they got a deal on those Lando stands, because it is looking bleak. I mean, they're not there. They can't develop the car. They don't seem like they have answers. I mean, I have a question for you. Things are not going well, right? It's not looking good. You're there, so you're not watching this on TV. Why is Zach Brown taking so many calls on television when they're this? And when they have the team principals call in during the race?
Yeah.
Why is Zach Brown doing phone calls during the live broadcasts and taking questions from David Coulthard and Jolyon Palmer, who are asking them, so your car sucks. Why does it suck? Well, why is he doing that? Is it a requirement? Because if I'm him, I'm like, I don't want to talk to the media while, Oscar Piastri's been punted down to 16th and Lando Norris is fighting for 5th and 6th.
You don't have to do it. They ask you to do it. And you normally do it a few races a year. But
why is he agreeing to do that when he's having the race from hell?
We need to ask him. I have no idea.
Okay.
I have no idea why he's doing it,
He's a marketing guy. He's got to try to spin. He's got to try to spin.
But he cannot spin shit, so.
I am going brake.
Whoa.
I think they get one this year. I think my
Lando
boy Lando Norris. I think my boy Lando Norris pulls off a miracle at some point. I don't know which race it'll be. I also think that at some, I still have some faith in the McLaren development program, even though they've been slow on the uptake. I think that maybe by the end of the year they figured some of their shit out.
Some faith
and
you've got. You haven't got faith. You've got some faith. Yeah, right.
I got some faith. I've got some faith left. Faith is not a finite. It's not a zero-sum game. You can have some of it.
Some of it, yeah.
Next prompt.
McLaren should become a factory team.
Gas. Absolutely. They're a car manufacturer. They should make their own engine. That would take away, because they always, when something goes wrong on the engine, now we don't get the same engine as Mercedes. They had issues with Renault at the time. They had issues with Honda. It's always something. At some stage, you need to be a grown-up, and they've got enough money. Zach is very good at selling that team, sponsorship. Get the money instead of putting it in the bank. Make your own engine. I mean, that would be that would send a message. Also, I think commercially for their old cars would be a good thing, That's my opinion about it. So they should go for it. Red Bull went for it, and they're doing pretty good, So Audi went for it. They're a car manufacturer. They don't want to buy a Ferrari engine anymore. They want to stand on their own 2 feet. They want to be taken serious.
So why do you think they won't do it? It's just expensive?
Expensive. And difficult. I mean, it isn't easy, Matt, to make an engine. But I think the first hurdle is the money and then the people, like all the time when you do something, when you do a business. But, at some stage, if you're not happy with what you have got and they are not, what you need to do? You need to do it yourself.
And there's a short-term, and there's also like that short-term pain where you might suck for a few years that they might not want to do.
But now it would be a good opportunity for the next engine. Start to get ready now. Make the decision. Start to get ready. You have got a target. The next engine, regulations, I've got my own engine. But you need to make that decision now. You cannot make it in 2 years because then you're too late.
Yeah. I'm going gas. I have to agree with Guenther. You're McLaren. You're not Williams. You're not Haas. You're car. You make cars. Make a fucking engine.
I'm going gas too. It also seems like from what I'm hearing, we're gonna go away from these highly complex engines. That the engines are gonna start to get a little bit more simple, a little more basica.
Brian, in Formula One, nothing gets simpler. Even a simple engine will be complicated. I mean, that is a dream of people.
Of course, but aren't they talking about that these engines that with the turbo and the battery that they're moving away from that?
They're moving away from that, but then the next complexity comes because everything there will be always technology involved, which everybody thought this engine will be simpler. They said, it will be a simpler engine. It is not. It always will be complex, but that shouldn't stop McLaren.
But isn't there, from what I've been
the MGUH.
reading...
Wasn't that a massive pain in the ass?
That was a pain in the ass, yeah. It got simpler, but it's still a very complex machine,
But in terms of the expenses of it, what I've been reading is that they're moving towards engines that will be like a little bit less cost prohibitive.
Yeah,
is that not true?
Yeah, and then they introduce a lower cost cap with the new engine, and that will help, It will help, yeah.
I see.
It is a good point to go there, but that's why I say McLaren should go there, in my opinion. They are big enough.
Now's the time.
Now is the time.
Now is the time to seize
Now
the
or
day.
never.
Buy low, sell high. Okay, next prompt.
Races that are at risk of finishing under a safety car should be automatically red flagged.
God, that's some question. I need to think what I say now because I need to find, you always try to find the negatives, whatever you say. But people say, this cannot be done. Should you automatically? Yes, that would make the solution simple. Not my complex solution of simulating and making another 100 rules. A simple rule. If there is only 3 laps to go, safety car, it's red flag. End of story. Hallelujah.
I'm going gas. I wrote this prompt. This is what I want. Red flag that shit. You got a fucking standing start. It's perfect. You get to bookend the races. You get a standing start at the front. You get a standing start at the back. You get chaos on both ends. You get a satisfying conclusion. Unless your guy tumbles down the order, it's perfect. And at least you get to end, and you guaranteed an ending. You'll never have this situation again.
Yeah, I'm going gas. Obviously, this is how it should be. Under a certain amount of laps, you pick an arbitrary number. Maybe it differs racetrack to racetrack based off how long the track is or whatever it is. You run it through your simulators. You use your AI. You do whatever the fuck you got to do, and you say with X amount of laps to go, we're not doing safety cars. We're red flagging the race. Everyone can come in, and we get a thrilling end to a GP. Next prompt.
From Bing Bong, the Verstappens are regretting that they pushed Christian out.
Wow, so we are assuming that the Verstappen pushed Christian out here. That is what we are assuming here.
I mean, if it quacks like a duck and it waddles like a duck,
it is a duck. Huh?
Might be a duck.
They didn't
Might be a
necessarily
duck.
push him out, but they definitely didn't. They didn't help him. They didn't help him as he was falling.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't give him grip your shoes or something, when he was slipping,
Yeah.
They didn't give him, yeah.
If you fall, I will catch you. I'll be waiting. They were not that. They were not that.
Like,
They
I
sent
have to
him
do
to a
something
place where he
different.
might need some grippy shoes. That's where they sent him. But,
Yeah.
They regret Christian is out. So,
That's a better way to phrase it. They regret that Christian is gone. The Verstappens regret Christian is gone. That is a better way to phrase it.
break. I don't think they. I don't think they would believe it would be any different. That is why I put a break on.
I'm surprised because the obvious answer, Guenther, is gas. Okay, you think for fucking 1 second that the Red Bull engine would have, the duo situation would have happened under Christian? I've said this before, he would have covered himself in rags. He would have cried poor. He would have covered the engine in soot and dirt and grime, and he would have done everything. That engine would have been the worst engine, the weakest engine. I mean, Mecky's. I mean, he brings a lot of positive things to the team, I think, but there's this like befuddlement that he has at the politics of the sport. He's like, you sort of talk to him. He's like, I don't understand. There's sort of he doesn't kind of understand how he's in this position. Whereas like Christian, this is his world, right? The gamification, the politics. Like, I think Toto and Ferrari have kind of pulled a blinder on him, because that's sort of part of the game that I don't think he is as aware of or as masterful at it as some of his competitors. And I think Toto showed his mastery at it with the duo tokens and honestly getting those starts, the 5-second start shit. Like, that's sort of the shit that you need a political acumen to achieve. And I think Christian was Toto's only match in that arena. So I'm going gas.
I'm going gas everything that Matt just said, and also on, I don't know, I can't imagine a Christian Horner Red Bull where the rear wing doesn't close.
Wait a moment here. The question was not, is Christian better or worse? It's like, what are the Verstappens? Are they regretting it or not?
Okay,
Wait. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Max is not thrilled. Max hates the car.
But he would hate it anyway, whatever. But he hated when Christian was there. Therefore, I don't think he liked. They didn't get on anymore after that long time. So
I think that you don't have that rear wing not closing a second. I think that Christian says, how much gain are we getting from this fucking Macarena? Fuck that. Get it out. This is never happening to my golden goose that is Max Verstappen ever again. We're not putting my baby boy in danger ever again. And he does not. And he doesn't have the rear wing flap close unexpectedly. That happens one and done under a Christian Horner Red Bull. And in that moment, I think Max Verstappen in the back of his mind goes, fuck.
The wrong guy is gone.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
The wrong guy's gone. I think that's in the back of his mind. Next prompt.
The FIA is worse than FIFA.
Fucking hell. That's a big competition here, They are spatters each other, so how do you do that?
They're both amazingly run organizations.
We get
They're
them
both
back.
amazing.
Yeah.
Well, they're great organizations, both of them.
I really like them both, but, they're awesome people. That's a big match. I mean, it's like, fucking hell, who's worse than...
Yeah, that's France
that's
versus...
like Aston and Cadillac battling it out in the back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, who is worse? I mean, they're as bad as each other. So how we do that one? Gas and left for braking.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going full gas. The FIA is worse than FIFA because FIFA suspended the red card, and Balagoon is back, and we're going to beat the shit out of Belgium. This is coming out on Wednesday. I'm recording this before the game. FIFA is my favorite organization. FIA is the worst. Thank you, FIFA, for...
Thank you, Donald. Yeah, to listen to Donald.
Thank you, Donald. Thank you, Donald Trump and FIFA, for instituting the perfect and definitely precedented move of suspending the red card for Balagoon.
If you would have been for a player for Belgium, what would you say?
Obviously, I'd be saying something different.
All right, okay. Brian,
This is an opinion show.
Yeah, politician.
I don't know much about. I don't know that much about FIFA. But I do know that at the beginning of the race, at the beginning of the I haven't seen the president of FIFA on track playing soccer with the boys. So for that reason and for that reason alone, in a little scrimmage match, for that reason alone, I'm giving it to the FIA. So that's my guess. Last prompt.
F1 should bring back Michael Massey.
Gas. Michael, come back. Fucking Michael, please come back. I always said Michael was the best race director after Charlie Whiting. He fucked up one time and paid dearly for it, But he fucked up properly, to be honest.
What's Michael up to these days, Guenther?
He's doing something for the Australian Federation.
Does he have to wear like a fake mustache?
No. Michael is pretty cool, Michael, he's over it now. No, Michael is good. He should come on the show. Yeah. We asked him. Fuck it all.
We should get Michael on the show.
That would be great.
Yeah. Okay, let's try.
Honestly, Michael would have gotten. We know for a fact that Michael would have gotten that race going. That's why I'm gas as well.
Yeah, he would have mixed it up all and fucked it up a little bit worse than they did. But anyway, yeah, the race would be going. But anyway.
Lap cars, schmap cars.
It would be a good question for Mike.
Going.
It would be a good question for Mike. What would have you done?
That's right. That's right.
He would have only.
Well, at this point, who knows?
He would have let only the important cars unlap themselves.
That's right.
And then he would have started it.
At this point, though, who knows? He might be so traumatized that he'd be like, "I would have just stopped the race."
Mike is not traumatized.
You don't think?
No, I saw him last time.
You know him.
Yeah, I saw him. When did I saw him? I saw him very briefly in Australia this year, but very briefly, because he was there only one day, I think. But the year before, I spoke quite a bit with him. So, yeah. He's not traumatized. He is over it. Mike is back to be Michael.
He would have kept his...
Yeah.
What has kept this? Then you know what? Get him back in there. Get him back in that driver's seat of these races, because we need someone who understands that what happened in Silverstone should never happen again. Full gas. All right, that does it for us, because we are going to do a preview episode
next week.
Spa. So we're going to save our predictions for then. The current standings. Guenther, you've got 29.
Fucking hell.
Matt, you've got 21. I have 20.
You're making roundup.
I think you had a...
Yeah.
We're starting to catch you.
Yeah. No,
like
you were
Ferrari.
closer last time. Last time Matt was closer, but Matt must have fucked up completely his prediction. So.
Well, let's hold on. Let me see exactly what we said last time.
We need to make a championship table which we show the people. and
we also need to decide. What the winner gets and what the loser gets.
We should have the people which subscribe to be part of the voting, but that's too difficult to do. I think.
Guenther, you said it was going to be George, Kimi, Lewis.
I got Lewis right, yeah.
So you got Lewis right in third, and you had George was on the podium. So you got 3. I think you got 4 points this for Silverstone. Matt, you had Max winning, Kimi, and then George. So you got 1 point for George being on the podium. And I said Lewis was going to win, then George Russell, and then Max. So I think I got George was in second, and I was correct about that. So I got 3 points. So I'm slowly catching my way back up. And we need some type of a reward for the winner and punishment for the loser. Write your comments. What should we do for the winners and losers of this little tournament we have going on? But we will be back next week for a prediction episode and for a preview episode for Belgium. We will see you then, Vankahs. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye, Vankahs.